So hi there students, welcome back to another video lesson. So tapos na tayo sa discussion natin on measures of positions of group data. So yung kasunod na lesson natin is measures of position of group data. Okay, so pag group data, usually that is greater than or equal to 30 scores or data. So kasakalang po natin ginagamitan ng table, yung frequency distribution table. So, para ma-enlighten kayo kung paano yung process ng pag-construct ng frequency distribution table, kasi usually, sa group data, nakabigay na agad yung table. Lahat, kompleto na yung mga information na kinakailangan and then magsasolve ka na lang. So, mas maganda na alam nyo, since modular learning halos kayong mga students, so, mahalaga na malaman nyo kung paano ang pag-construct ng ating frequency distribution table. So, kung paano pinapresent yung data using frequency distribution table. So, let's start. So, for our lesson objectives, we will define terms related to frequency distribution. So, mahalaga na malaman nyo yung mga terms kasi makikita nyo yan sa frequency distribution table. So, mamaya, magtatanong kayo anong ibig sabihin nito, anong ibig sabihin niya ng word na yan. So, i-define po natin yung mga terms na related doon. And then, we will construct a frequency distribution table. So, tuturuan ko po kayo step by step kung paano mag-construct ng frequency distribution table. So, let us first define what is frequency. So, in mathematics, frequency denoted as F, ayan, so usually pag F na yan, that is frequency, may be defined as the number of times a data value occurs. So, ibig sabihin, at tinitignan natin dito kung ilang beses nag-occur ang isang data value. Okay, like for example, sa mga grades mo, so you have 8 subjects. So makikita mo doon ilang beses lumilitaw yung line of 8, ilang beses yung line of 7, ilan yung 90 mo, ilan yung 91, or kung ilan yung bagsak, ilan yung wala mong grades. So, kino-consider din yung frequency. Okay, so anyway, yung frequency kadalasan ginagamit yan kapag maramihan yung data. Okay. For example, 5 students got a score of 30 in a mathematics test. Therefore, the score of 30 has a frequency of 5. Okay, so yung example natin, there are 5 students, 5 ang estudyante na nakakuha ng score na 30 dun sa test sa math. Kaya, ibig sabihin, kapag frequency, hanapin natin ang frequency, ang sagot po dun is 5. So, yung score na 30, ilan ang nakakuha na estudyante doon? That is 5. Kaya yung frequency is 5. Okay, like for example, ano pa? Ilan ang mga students na 15 years old sa grade 10 Hope? Ilan yung 16? Ilan yung 17? O kung may 14 pa ba? Halimbawa, ang bilang ng students na 15 years old ay halimbawa 20. Ibig sabihin yung frequency is 20. Now, what about a frequency distribution? So, after the data collection process, one method of organizing and presenting data is through frequency distribution. Okay, so diba sa study, sa research, usually we collect data. So, magagather tayo ng data, mag-undergo tayo ng data collection process. So, after nating makollect yung mga data na gusto nating malaman, makuha, so ano na ang kasunod? That is the time that we have to organize them and then we present them. Okay, so may mga data na pinapresent tayo using graphical presentation. Like for example, yung mga line graph, bar graph, pie graph, picture graph. So kapag tabular representations naman, so usually ang common na ginagamit natin dyan is yung frequency distribution table. Ayan, so one way to present, organize and present data is through frequency distribution. So a frequency distribution table is a table that lists numerical data that have been grouped in intervals in the frequency of the occurrence of the data. So since we are to use frequency distribution table sa group data, meron po tayo dyang intervals na tinatawag, naka-group into intervals. Like for example, ayan. So, kung tinitignan natin yung mga scores, ilan yung mga scores doon sa data na nakakuha ng 12 to 15. And then, meron tayong frequency halimbawa, 7. Okay, so yung 12 to 15, ito po yung tinatawag nating class interval. And then yung 7, ito naman po yung frequency. Ilang mga students ang nakakuha ng score sa pagitan ng 12 to 15. So, ayan. So, let's have other related terms. Unang-una na dyan is yung tally. So, what is tally? A way of recording data in groups of 5. So, we usually see tally kapag election. So, kapag bilangan na ng mga boto. Then, ano pa? Sa basketball scores. Basketball tournament, volleyball, ayan. So, ano nga ba yung tally na yan? Ito po. Ayan. Yung mga guhit-guhit na yan na kung saan kapag umabot na ng 5, binabaretahan na natin yan. So, nakaslant na siya, it means 5 na yon. Kaya nga groups of 5. So, hindi kasi pwede na ganito siya. Ayan, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo sa pag-bar. Hindi natin alam kung ano na yung score, yung standing. Okay, so, kasi kapag nakaseparate na group sila into 5, mabilis natin yun, mabibilang. Okay, so, basta isang ganito, ayan, that is equal to 5. Next, we have range. Okay, so during our discussion on measures of position of ungrouped data, meron tayo dong highest score, lowest score, diba? So, dito na magagamit na po natin yung mga yon. Okay, so, range, this is the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. So, difference, it means we are to subtract. So, between the highest score and the lowest score. So, kino-consider na natin dito yung highest score and lowest score. So, sa paggawa po kasi ng frequency distribution table, ang una po nating sa alang-alang ginagawa is to determine the range, okay, of the scores, yung highest score and lowest scores. So, range is equal to HS minus LS. HS, that is highest score. LS, that is lowest score. Okay, so sa pagde-decide kasi ng class interval, gamit na gamit po yung range na yan. Yung class size, class interval. And then class interval, ito, kakasabi ko lang. So, class interval, the numerical width of any particular class in a distribution. Like for example, yung example natin kanina, 12 to 15. So, if we are to count the interval of 12 to 15, so mag-i-start tayo sa 12. So, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, the interval, the class interval is 4. What else? Halimbawa, 10 to 19. Ang interval po niyan ay 10. So, ayan. Next, we have lower boundary. So, lower boundary is it is found by subtracting 0.5 units from the lower class limit. Okay, so 'di ba meron tayong class interval like for example 12 to 15, kagaya ng example natin kanina. So, we will determine the lower class limit, yung pinakamababa. And that is 12. Ayan. And then, from 12, magsusubtract ngayon tayo ng 0.5. So, magiging ganito. 12 minus 0.5, that is 11.5. So, ibig sabihin ng 11.5 po na ito po yung ating lower boundary. So, LB. So, dinedenote siya as LB. So, pag nakita niyo yung LB, that means lower boundary. So, we don't need to write lower boundary. Basta LB, that is lower boundary. Next, less than cumulative frequency. It is obtained by adding successively the frequencies of all the previous classes, including the class against which is written. Okay, so usually, nag-a-add tayo sa ibaba, papataas. Like for example, Pinakamababa natin 1 is 1 to 5, and then 6 to 10, 11 to 15. Diba, yung frequency, ito, 8, 2, and then 20. Okay, and then yung n natin, halimbawa, is 30. So, n is equal to 30. Yung less than cumulative frequency natin, dinedenote siya as less than CF. So, less than cumulative frequency. So, mag-i-start tayo ng pag-a-add sa pinaka lower class, which is 1 to 5. And then, yung frequency nun is 20. So, we write 20 nun. And then, mag-a-add tayo pataas. So, 20 plus 2, yung frequency ng kasunod na class, that is 22. And then, yung frequency ng susunod na class, 8. So, that is 30. So, how will you determine if your answer is wrong? Kailangan po yung ating total frequency, nagtatali sila. As you can see, nakakuha tayo dito ng 30. Wherein n, or the total frequency, is 30. Halimbawa, n is equal to 30. Tapos, ang nakuha natin dun sa pag-a-add natin, dun sa pinaka-itaas, 29 lang. So, ibig sabihin, there's something wrong with your solution. Kailangan 30 is equal to 30 because 30 is not equal to 29. So, after discussing with you the terms related to frequency distribution, so we are now to discuss steps in constructing frequency distribution table. So, first step that we need to do is to arrange the data in ascending order. So, ilang beses na po natin yung nakita dun sa video lessons natin on measures of position of ungrouped data. So, ganun pa rin po dito. So, mahalaga kasi talaga na ina-arrange natin yung mga scores, yung mga data in ascending order kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng organization. Okay, hindi tayo nalilito. Hindi tayo nangangapa nasan yung pinakamababa, nasan yung pinakamataas. Okay, so kapag in-arrange kasi natin yon, makikita natin yung mga pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga scores. Next, after that, calculate the range. Kasi na-arrange na natin yung mga data in ascending order, calculate the range na ang kasunod niya. So, by the way, again, range, this is the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. So, HS, highest score, LS, the lowest score. Next, decide the class size. So, dito, approximate number of classes lang kasi. So, halimbawa, yung approximate number of class, yung 1 to 5, 6 to 10, yung mga ganyan, 11 to 15. Okay, nagkakaroon tayo ng approximation dyan. It's because, kailangan kasi natin i-compute yun. Okay, so kaya approximation lang talaga. And then meron tayong method na ginagamit yun, yung may log. Okay, so pero ito na lang i-discuss ko sa inyo para mas madali siya. Okay. So class size natin dito, halimbawa 11 to 15, 16 to 20. Ayan, ang class size natin dito, ang number of classes natin dito is 4. Ayan. So, divide the range by the class size to identify the class interval. Okay, so kapag meron na tayong approximate number of class, like for example, yung class size natin dito is, halimbawa, 7. And then yung nakuha nating range is 50, halimbawa. So, yung nakuha nating range na 50, i-divide po natin siya ngayon sa 7. So, kapag dinivide natin yung 50 sa 7, interval natin is halimbawa 7.1. Okay, so kahit may konti po siyang tira, yung 7.1, lagi po tayo nag-round up. So, the interval will become 8. Okay, so kahit 7.05, so 8 na po yun. Lagi tayong round up. Next. So, nakuha na natin yung class interval, yung class size, meron na tayong range, naka-arrange na yung mga data. So, that is the time that we will construct a frequency distribution table. And then, we will tally and count the observations under each classes. So, ayan. Na-present na natin yung steps in constructing frequency distribution table. What is the next step? Of course, we will apply the steps. through an example. So the scores of 40 students of grade 10 wisdom in a mathematics exam. Okay, so n is equal to 40. Ayan. Hindi na tayo marihirapan. N is equal to 40. So ito yung mga scores ng mga students. Ayan. Papansin nyo, hindi na lang po yan 10, hindi na lang po yan 15. So 40 na po. That is why considered na po yan as group data. Kasi mas madaling makita sila kapag ina-arrange natin sila. And then, mas madaling nakikita yung table, yung kung ano yung gusto nating malaman. At least well-presented sila using a frequency distribution table. Hindi magulo. Organize sila. That is why organizing data yan. So, construct a frequency distribution table using a class size of 6. Okay, so ayan, given na po yung class size which is 6. Okay, again, yung 6 na yan, approximate lang po. So, maaari kasi yung class size natin is 7. So, approximate lang po yan, tansya lang po, estimate. Okay, so maaaring maging 7 yan, maging 8, depende po sa makukuha nating class interval mamaya. So, ayan, yung mga scores. So, what is the first step again? We have to arrange the scores in ascending order. So, ayan. Kung i-arrange natin yung mga scores in ascending order, ito po sila. Ayan. So, you can see, ayan, yung lowest score natin is 9. And the highest score is 50. Malamang yung 50 yung perfect score yan. So, naka-arrange na po yung mga scores. Ayan. Kaya madali nating nakita yung highest and lowest score. Next, calculate the range. Range is equal to HS minus LS, the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. Basically, 9, this is the lowest score, and then 50 is the highest score. So, highest score is 50 minus the lowest score, 9. So, 50 minus 9, that is 41. So, yung range ng scores natin is 41. Ayan. Next, number 3, class size is 6. So, given po yan sa ating problem. Next, divide the range by the class size to identify the class interval. Okay, so since meron na tayong nakuhang range kanina which is 41. So, again, paano nakuha yun? 50 minus 9. That is 41. Now, to determine the value of the class interval, so we will divide the obtained range by the class size. Yun na lang. So, 41 divided by 6. So, kapag dinivide natin yung 41 sa 6, yung makukuha nating quotient is 6.83. So, yung 3 dyan, repeating siya. So, kapag inana natin yan, ni-round off natin yan, magiging 7 na. So, therefore, the class interval is 7. So, next, construct a frequency distribution table and tally. Okay, so ang usually sinusulat natin sa pinakaibaba is yung interval, which is 7. And then yung n naman natin dito is 40. Okay, so dito sa LB, sa pinakaibaba, walang sinusulat naman. As well as yung sa less than cumulative frequency. Now, construct a frequency distribution table. So, una muna natin, syempre, if we fill out is yung scores. Kasi wala tayong makukuhang frequency, lower boundary, tsaka less than cumulative frequency kapag wala yung scores. So, yung lowest score natin is 9, di ba? Okay. And then, magka-count ngayon tayo ng 7 kasi yung class interval natin is 7. So, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, ibig sabihin yung una nating class, yung lower class natin, 9 to 15 siya. So, kung bibilangan natin ng interval, that is 7. Now, paano yung mabilis na way para ma-determine natin yung lahat ng classes natin? Okay, so madali lang po. So, ang gagawin natin dito is mag-a-add lang tayo ng 7 dun sa lower class, saka 7 din dun sa higher class, upper class. Okay, so 9 plus 7, 16. 15 plus 7, that is 22. Hanggang makarating tayo sa pinakaitaas. 16 plus 7, that is 23. 22 plus 7, 29. Kesa naman sa magbibilang pa tayo sa kamay ng tig sa 7, yan ang pinakamabilis na paraan. So, 23 plus 7, 30. 29 plus 7, 36. 30 plus 7, that is 37. 36 plus 7, 43. Next, 37 plus 7, 44. And then 43 plus 7 is 50. So what if ang nakuha nating sagot is 49? So kailangan nating itali syempre yung 50. Magkakaroon pa ulit tayo ng isang class nun. As long as hindi pa rin nakikita yung highest score, syempre kailangan kasi natin yung itali. Kailangan pa rin maglagay pa ng class. Okay, so bibilangin natin yung classes natin dito. Ayan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kitang-kita na yung class size natin is 6. Again, approximate lang po yun. It's just so happen na tama siya. Okay, so meron kasing mga problem wherein yung approximate classes natin, hindi siya nagtutugma kasi nga, approximate lang siya. Next, pwede na tayong mag-tally. Okay. Mag-start tayo dito sa 9 to 15. So, ilan yung mga scores na nakapaloob ngayon sa 9 to 15? Yun yung magiging frequency niya. So, as you can see, isa lang po yung score na yon. And that is 9. Kaya itatali natin dito, lalagay natin dito 1. So, usually, before, after scores, tally muna. Yung nagbabar tayo. Pero, dito, frequency na. So, as long as alam naman natin kung paano yung pagtatali. So, madali lang po yung process na yun. Kaya frequency na muna. Next, 16 to 22. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As you can see, napakabilis ng ating pagbilang. It's because naka-arrange nga yung mga scores in ascending order. So, try to imagine na hindi naka-arrange yung mga scores natin in ascending order. Diba? Magko-consume pa yun ng oras. Okay? Next, 23 to 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 11 din. Next, 30 to 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 37 to 43. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 44 to 50. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, let us add the frequency of each classes. Kailangan makuha natin 40. So, 4 plus 6, that is 10. Plus 7, 17. Plus 11, 28. Plus 11, 39. And then plus 1, 40. So, tama po yung ating pagtatali, yung frequency ng bawat classes. Now, lower boundaries na tayo. So, 44 to 50, yung lower class limit natin dito is 44. So, magsusubtract tayo ng 0.5. So, yung lower boundary niya is 43.5. Now, ang pinakamabilis ulit na paraan is mag-subtract ngayon tayo ng 7 pababa. So, 43.5 minus 7, that is 36.5. Minus 7, 29.5. Minus 7 again, 22.5. Minus 7, 15.5. And then last, 8.5. Okay. Next, less than cumulative frequency naman tayo. Okay. So, mag-start tayo sa pinaka-ibaba. Okay. So, Kunin natin yung frequency ng 9 to 15, that is 1. And then, i-add natin sa frequency ng susunod na class, which is 16 to 22. So, 1 plus 11, 12. Next ulit, plus 11, 23, plus 7, 30, plus 6, 36, and then plus 4, 40. As you can see, nagtali tayo. N is equal to 40. And then, yung nakuha nating sum dun sa pinaka-upper class natin is 40 din. And then, minsan, nagkakaroon ng kabaligtaran. Kasi minsan, ang nakasulat na scores natin dito sa 44 to 50, maaring mauna yung pinakamababa, which is 9 to 15. Kapag ganun po, yung ating less than cumulative frequency, nag-i-start po tayo dun sa itaas. Mag-uumpisa tayo sa total, halimbawa 40. Tapos nun, pababa, magsusubtract tayo. So, yun lang po yung ating pag-construct ng frequency distribution table. And then, yung ating pagtatali. So, once na fill out na lahat ng mga needed information dyan, pwede na po tayong mag-apply ng formula for measures of position. So, by the way, ginagamit din naman yung frequency distribution table na yan sa measures of central tendency of group data, yung mean, median, and mode. Okay, so I hope naintindihan natin yung lesson dyan. So after discussing with you the process of constructing a frequency distribution table, next topic will be to calculate and interpret the measures of position. This time, group data naman po. Of course, mauna nating i-discuss is yung quartiles of group data. So, and then percentiles, deciles, and then percentiles. So, I hope you've learned something from this video lesson. So, that's all. Thank you.